Hello and welcome back to Alpha Mondays. Thank you very much for joining me in this video. Today we are going to be taking a look at another indie game that's in development, currently in version 0.9.3.05H1. That sounds very confusing. An early access alpha build. We're looking at Computer Tycoon. I did take a look at this game too when it first came out, but we're going to have a look at it in a little bit more detail. We're going to have a look at it and see what's good and what's not good about it within a 20 to 25 minute time frame. So we can just pick the player. I'm just gonna go, in fact, you know what? No, let's just do this. Just as I always do. The company we're going to call... What should we call the company? You know what? Because just for the sake of it. Oh look, there's already an IBN. Maybe we shouldn't be IBM. Let's do something else. I don't know. We could go Microsoft. We could literally go Microsoft. Because why not? So let's pretend we're Microsoft, for example. Bonus, we can set bonuses now. Is this going to be scientists, factory workers, or commercial expansion on the map? So that's pretty good. So you can already have an advantage over your competitors, which I quite like. I'm going to go 10% research. You can pick the color very easily. One of the things that I don't particularly like, I don't like this main menu being sideways. That's the first thing that concerns me. I don't like the main menu being sideways. I don't mind the colors, I don't mind the styling of it, I don't mind having the floppy disk on it, but it's just that sideways is really annoying. And especially also when you do that, look, if I press it again, you're going to see it do something really weird. It like pops out and pops in. Don't need that at all. It's superfluous. It's annoying too. You don't need it at all. Difficulty, let's just go for normal. I don't know, I haven't played this in a while. We're going to find out what it's like, and I'm going to switch off a few people. So you can go off, you can go off, you can go off. Oh no, I didn't say you can go off. You can go off. The Tony Stark lookalike can go off. You can go off. There you go. This is just these three. This guy looks like Robin Williams in Jumanji. What year is this? Right, and then we've got our own, we can select our own person, and it's just a standard avatars, like so. So you can see that. We're just going to pick the Bill Gates lookalike, or the Bill Gates Steve Jobs mashup. I'm going to start the game and let's see what happens. Alright, so loading times, again, I'm going to do this all, I'm not going to cut anything out. Let's see what it's like. Loading times are... Well, we're still going. Okay, that's not too bad. That's not too bad. We're not going to read this. This is basically just the developer of the title, saying that this is first for title, solo developer. He's got lots of work to do, which I agree with, and you'll see why. You can reach the screen by pressing F1. Skip the crash course, but I already know what's going on. So that's fine. So I know, and I can get rid of that. Now, one thing I'm going to say, the developer is a very nice gentleman, so that's really good. I think he works really hard on this, and he's proud of the product that he's developing. So I would like to provide some good feedback to him. That's what I want to do. I want to be able to provide good feedback, and I want you guys to have an honest impressions of this at the moment from what I see of it. Now, you can go all around the map and you can select what you want. So you can see that each country, so let's say if you hover over the United States, you can see that it has a population, a name, a wealth, and a dominant company. It has the market share and preferences. So you can see how people want it. Now if we click this, it tells us what we want. So people want ease of use in the United States. Prestige isn't too bad. They want some performance, they don't care too much about features, and they want quality. There's the starting cost, and that's the logistics price. We'll go over that in a minute. So we could have a look over here, and you can see over here it's all about performance. You can see it's all about performance there. They don't care much about features, some about ease of use, but prestige and performance is what they want. So this is your overview. Essentially, this is your overview, and you can see that we could show different areas. So you got the different wealth of the country, so you can see what place is and isn't wealthy. So this is rich. The United Kingdom is rich. This place is poor. That Canada is poor. It's just random. It's just completely randomized. Nothing serious. Finland is rich. Ukraine is poor. Russia is poor. You see different places. Cameroon is rich. Central is poor. Mali, Niger, Algeria, average, poor, so on and so forth. Then you can see the amount of population people have. So you can see Britain doesn't have a huge population, as you would expect. 3 million, which is actually far less than it actually does have, but still. Area of, I'm not sure what that means. I think that's just, looks like the geography. And which country is dominant. So you got that, and then you can see all those preferences that we saw. So who wants features, ease of use, prestige, performance, and quality. So that's what you can see all on this. This is your overview screen. Up here is how much money you've got. This is how much money you're making or losing. Right, that excludes your construction expansion costs. These are your logistical points. These are your research points. So the more research points you make, the more you can research, and the more quickly you can research. The more logistical points you make, the more what do you think? The more logistics, the more you can ship. Pretty much, the more you can ship. This tells you what you need. So this is the production power. So that's each thing requires some production power. This tells you how much production power you have, and that tells you how much production power you need. So your demand of production power. Think of it as energy in a sense. We have the statistics screen over here. So you can see that you have to unlock this technology before 2034. Basically, your goal is to not die. That's what you've got to try not to do. Now, this is where I get really confused about this. This is Computer Tycoon, but the premise of this title is to not die. And that really confuses me. I think it's not needed. I don't think this part of it is needed. I think really it needs to focus on making the greatest computer company. Forget about the chance of dying. It just doesn't, I just don't understand why you need this. Anyway, you've got your budget for the year, you've got your sales, you've got your customers, your market share, your preferences, and that, again, there's that thing there. Then you've got a marketing screen. So we've got no marketing department. Once we get that, I will show you the marketing screen. Building sites. Again, you've got research. I'll show you when the research, in fact, there you go. You can actually see some of the research. But once the research comes up, I will do that, and I'll show you also the way we do some hardware. So let's go ahead and buy a place in the United Kingdom. It's going to cost us a little bit to start with, and then we're going to have to try and make a lot of money. In fact, I really should have started it. I really should have made this easy. So if we so a way for me to make this really easy, just so I can show you everything that's going on. I'm not too sure. No, you know what? Let's just go as it is. Probably going to end up bankrupt very, very quickly, but there you go. So you can see we're already down on money, but now we can go here and you can see that we've got this icon there, which I don't know what it does. That one is how you establish an industrial site. So there you go. We now have an industrial site in the United Kingdom, and this is the menu of you being able to develop stuff. So you got offices, factories, labs, marketing, logistics, and recreation. So what we got is one logistic point left. So we're going to either market more countries, but I think we're just going to focus in the United Kingdom for now. So here we go. We're going to build an office. So you can see this is how much the office is going to cost and what it's going to do. So max production goes up to 5, upkeep is 1,000, price is 10,000. We can press upgrade, that's going to start for us. We can do the same for factory. Max production, upkeep, and price. So obviously we need a factory. We're going to need a laboratory. Going to do the same thing. Probably going to need a little bit of marketing, but I'm going to leave the marketing for now. We're going to go for logistics. We're going to see if we can get some logistics going. And recreation, I'm not exactly sure what the recreation does. Mandatory for levels of factory department, so we're not going to do recreation just yet. We're not going to worry about that, even though it's pretty cheap. We now play this, and you can see that we're losing money, but we are now, if we go to full view, you can see that these buildings are popping up from the ground and they are growing. Now if we pause it right now, we can now start to actually do stuff. So let's start by researching. So you can see each one of these points. This tells us what the research works with, so what it increases. So you can see a printer is ease of use, it seems. Prestige is none of this, apart from blinking indicator lights is prestige. That is processing power. So sorry, that's, hang on a minute, no, hold on. The 6th kind of main property, yeah, I'm just trying to work out which one's which. Features, right, that's features, sorry, that's features, that's prestige, I was right about that. I'm not sure what this one is. It's got 1 and 2 on that, I'm not sure what that is. This is ease of use, that one's ease of use, this one is quality, and that one is, I have no idea, again. So we need to figure out what those two are. Right, so we can look at this and we can say, okay, look, if we're going to take one of these up, so these are the ones that are done. Now if we go to new, you can see that now we can research a whole bunch of stuff. Okay, if we were to click that and we click add, you can see there it is, and you can see RP, research points. That's essentially how many days it's going to take. So it's going to take 1,452 days for us to get the 8080 chips. For us to get EEPROM software, it's going to take us 3,000 days. DRAM 7,000, SCSI drive 3,200, hard disk, so on and so forth. Tape drive we can bring up. Look at that, tape drive is only going to take 220. So let's go ahead and bring some of the really easy ones up first. A keyboard and a tape drive, why not? Right, so we bring a keyboard and a tape drive in, then we're going to go for example, let's say we want to go for the 10 micrometer, there we go, 10 micrometer semiconductor. We've got the electrical noise reduction, we can bring that in, so on and so forth. So let's just stick with those for now. Now, what will happen is when you start playing this, you'll see that eventually these will start going forward. Now, at the moment, nothing's happening. Why is nothing happening? We don't actually have a research lab. So that's why we can't have anything. The research lab is still building up. So we need to wait for that to happen. However, what we can do is we can create a new computer ready to go. So by clicking hardware and then choose category, we can create components. And then from there, we create computers. So we go, let's say CPU. Let's say we want that. Compared to the opponents, it's that. There's our upfront cost for it. It's going to cost a bit. We can add passive cooling and VLSI to it. So we've got that and that we could add. Now we don't have to add that because it's going to help us out. And you can see that we could select different designs. We can go home computers, tablets, laptops, so on and so forth. But we could just start with an absolutely basic 4040 CPU. And we could say, look, hang on a minute, let's go for a little bit more performance than our competitors. And it's going to cost us, but let's go for 10% more performance. And we add some passive cooling, or let's add that to it. Or this, yeah, let's just add this to it. Let's see what happens. Okay, so then we create it. We can name it up here, CPU 001, add a name. So we're going to call it CPU 001. That's all we're going to call it for now. And then you create that, so that's now created. Now you can add more components. So let's add, for example, a motherboard. And you can see that with the motherboard, we're actually quite behind everybody else, you see. So we're going to have to really push that motherboard as fast as we can. Motherboard 001, nothing available there yet because we haven't got anything. We can create a power supply, there we go. Again, our quality is going to be really shoddy, but we can create it. And all of this is going to go into creating a computer for us. So go passive cooling, bring that up. And so you've got to create all these little bits and bobs. Now, I'm going to talk about whether I like this or I don't in a bit. Right, I'll tell you what I do and do not like about it. Let's do that. But first, I just want to show you what you've got. Blinking indicator lights, features, prestige, bring that right the way up. And the OS, opcode, features, ease of use. There you go. Right, so now we've got everything we need to make our computer. So now we go over here, go to computers, new computer, home computer, and then we've got to pick what we want. So we've got the accessories, we can add a printer, we've got the memory, we can add some memory to it. Now, interesting, if you click that, it goes into the memory selection. You need to click the picture for some reason, and then go add to computer. Little bit confusing, but you get used to it. So you click the computer, so this is just the name. That opens there, as you can see, click here to open, view the element. This is how you select it. So you add that to computer, and you can archive these when the time comes. Power supply, add to computer, storage, some of that Winchester technology, get a motherboard in, get a display on with some blinking indicator lights, and the opcode system. There you go. That's the My Computer 1. Let's call it the Microsoft one. Why I'm calling it Microsoft, I don't even know. It's the one that everyone knows, but they make software, not hardware. It really should be IBM or something like that, or a specialist company. That's what I was trying to work out. So once you've made your computer, you now have to you can save the design, but you need to create a prototype of it. So we can save that design, and now we go test and polish. So we're going to see
your new computer model went into the testing phase.
There you go, you heard them. So now we're going to get some testing and polish going. So for the next 30 days, we're going to be testing this computer. And you can see we're losing 83 CTD every day.
Your building upgrade has completed.
And you can see that has now sped up. Now the reason that's sped up is because you can see that we now have production power, we have research power, we have all these great things. So that's why that's gone up. So now we can one research power every day, one research point goes through. We've got the production power, we've got the LP, we can test these things.
Your new computer model is polished.
New computer model is polished. We can now get feedback on this. Now, I don't like this feedback, to be honest. Tells me not a market leader in anything, unfortunately. Yep, okay. But I don't like the way the feedback is. I think it needs to be improved. I think a lot of this needs to be improved. But I do like this. It gives you a recommended price. So now let's set the price. It says 2,732. Let's go for 2,700 and see what we can make from it. So then we market it. And now let's see if we make the money. And there you go. Immediately, look at that. We are making money, and you can see that we are selling it by the tens. Every day we're selling 10 of them, it seems. So that's really good, but that's not going to remain like that. You've got to be very careful. You've got to continue to watch this, because it will eventually slow down.
Manufacturing capacity.
Okay, so as you can see there, we don't have enough manufacturing capacity. So you can see that the demanded points are more than the production power we have, which means that we are going to have to upgrade our factory. But that's going to cost us, and that's going to have some upkeep cost too. So let's upgrade the factory. Let's do that. And at the same time, we could upgrade the lab, but I don't want to upgrade the lab right now. Actually, I think we should upgrade the lab. There we go. So it gives us some more production power, or research power, should I say. So there you go. The lab is being upgraded. The factory is being upgraded. We're making money, but you're going to see that that money is going to start crawling down very, very quickly, because your competitors are going to start catching up. Your competitors are going to start catching up. And that means that, for example, if we go back to our computers, 504 sold. Look at this. It's slowing down. It is slowing down. It's not as much as it used to. In fact, no, now at the moment it's more than it used to be, but it will start slowing down very quickly. And that's what you've got to keep up with, and that's what the research is there for. So I like this idea. I like the idea of having a system like this, and these systems aren't too bad. What I don't like, these need to be cleaned up. I don't like how these go thin on one side, and they're just odd. It's just oddly laid out. It really is oddly laid out. They really need to be fixed up. Make the edges rounded correctly. Yeah, just round these off. Make it look a lot more clean. This needs to be cleaned up a lot, all the way around. That's a top tip. Especially look at this. Look, the main menu is like that. This one's got more. This one's got even more. This is odd. This doesn't line up sort of all the way along. It just looks really, really awkward. This is okay. I like that. This then is okay. Then this sort of comes out like that and then back in. I'm not too sure whether that's a good idea. This is alright, but it just needs to be polished in that design phase. We're going to come back to this in a moment. Then going back to full view, you can see that this isn't all that either. It's okay. I mean, this isn't the point of Computer Tycoon, naturally, but this could do with some work. I think you could do a lot of good stuff on this. So that's something I'm looking forward to seeing some graphical improvements. But definitely, I think interface improvements are needed. The core interface is there, but it definitely needs some improvement. Now watch, what we're waiting for is for that to stop, or that to slow down. That's what we're waiting for. We're waiting for that to slow down, because that's when we're starting to lose money, you see. But if we then pause it right now and have a look at this, this is our global market share. You can see that 40% of all computers on the market are ours. They're our computers. So we could look at the statistics, and you can see there, okay, forget the profit, because we know we've lost a lot of money buying a lot of stuff. But if we forget the expansion, look at our profit coming in. So we've made 3 million almost. Is that 3? Yeah, 3 million almost is what we've made from home computers. And that is offset immediately, is going to offset those 3. So we're pretty much into a profit for the year, barring the expansion already. So this is really good for us, you see. The only difference is that doesn't change immediately. There we go. Now we're definitely into a profit. So we're definitely into a profit there. Now you can look at sales, and you can see there what tells you what was going on and what was going around. Customers, who's bought our computers, or by global sales. Our buyers are all rich. Look at that. We've got a lot from the United Kingdom, but Central African Republic, Ghana, Burkina Faso, the Ivory Coast, which is a Côte d'Ivoire, the Republic of Congo, Liberia, and Lesotho. So a lot of them in basically Africa. Britain and the United Kingdom and Africa is who's been buying a lot of stuff. Market share, you can see that we have a lot of it, but IBM, Data System, and Fortius chips also have a fair amount. You can see that we've got more sales than we have market share, so we need to improve upon that. And then we've got the market preferences, that's our market preferences, and then the global market preferences. And then we've got this weird singularity stuff that I don't care about. This part I really don't care about at all. I think it's, in my personal opinion, I find it silly. I do find it silly. So what we're going to do is we're just going to wait for a few of these things to go through. As you can see, we can now go 2 at a time per day, which is a really good thing for us.
A new technology.
There we go, we've got new technology. So we can use this new technology to our advantage, or we could go back to the lab and see if we can upgrade the lab. Now you can see that's going to cost us a lot of money to upgrade. So you can see immediately it starts becoming very expensive, and you have to be very careful not to lose too much money just in case things go wrong. So at the moment we can't upgrade the lab. Could we upgrade the factory? Yes, but do we need to? No, because look at the amount of production power we have. Look at the amount of production power we need. We don't need to upgrade the factory. We are good for this. The office. Do we need to upgrade the office? Well, it gives upkeep bonuses per level. Is it worth that? I think we can upgrade the office. So let's upgrade the office. Logistics, I don't think we're going to have to worry about right now. And we could build recreation, but at this moment in time, again, we don't have to worry about recreation. So this is okay. We're doing okay. Now what we could do is we could...
upgrade has completed.
Yes, thank you. Now what we could do is we could go for marketing. So we could say, look, let's build a marketing department, nice and cheap. And we can start marketing. Now we're making a lot of money at the moment. We're still making a lot of money. And if you look at the computer, going back to the computer again, you can see there's the recommended price. Our commercial price is good. That will eventually start dropping as more technology comes out. So that's really important to also remember, that as that starts dropping, our commercial price needs to drop, just as the economy goes. Old technology is cheaper until it becomes a classic, then it gets very, very expensive. So that's something you need to worry about, or something you need to think about. Now, building in different countries also gives you different advantages. For example, if you were to build a factory in a poor country, you'd be able to run it for cheaper than a factory in a rich country. A lab in a rich country is better than a lab in a poor country, so on and so forth. Now, I think we can upgrade the lab. I think we can upgrade the lab now, although the upkeep cost, look at the upkeep cost, 50,000. We're not even making 50,000. So if we were to upgrade the lab right now, we would be in a lot of trouble, you see. So we can't upgrade the lab because we're not making enough. So it's just like a Tycoon game. You have to consider all the various parts. Now let's pause it right now and go back to the world map, and you can see who has got what. So there you go. We go to area of population. Well, yeah, there you go. So these are the dominant products in these countries. These are the products in those countries. And then as you can see up in the United Kingdom, it's us. And anywhere else? No. Just the United Kingdom is us. So we need to start pushing out further from there. But we don't have to do that just yet. We can always build up further upon that. And that's pretty much the game. That is essentially the game. Again, the statistics, a little bit silly. For the whole saving your life sort of thing. Right. Let's go. This is the upkeep cost of the single site, as you can see there, and that's the production power of this single site. Alright, we're making plenty of money now, so what we're really looking forward to is trying to get this research done as fast as possible, and then we'll get a keyboard out on a new computer, we'll start adding more stuff, you know, so on and so forth. And as you can see, as you do one, another becomes available. So for example, look at that, we've got the 8-inch floppy disk drive that we could bring up. So we could bring that up, and after the keyboard we can do that. And that's how you bring this, that's how this game works. It's just a nice tycoon game. So what do I like about this game? It's an alpha game. What do I like? I like the concept behind it. I do like the concept, and parts of the interface are fairly nice. For example, I do like that interface there. I like the fact that there is all this technology, and I've seen the tech tree for this game as well. There is a lot of technology, so I like the effort that's gone into that tech tree. Very, very well done. Autosave done. That's 1 year over. There you go. Suddenly, wait a minute, you just saw that. Look at how little money we're making. So at the end of that year, it looks like our product, there you go, is no longer worth that. So now we should bring the price down to maintain. Now if we do that, there we go. Now we're continuing to sell. And again, that now goes back up. But it's not going to go up as high as it did last time, because now we need to improve our products. We need more products. We need new technology, which is exactly what we're researching. So yeah, I like that dynamic of the game. What don't I like about the game? As I like the user interface style, I don't like the user interface as a whole. It's rough. It's not brilliant. I think it really, really needs improvement. I mean, for example, that part sticking out there and then it's not sticking out there, you know, that really is, it's that attention to detail that needs to be there. It really needs to be there, and it needs to push forward, because I think that's going to help this game get onto the market and be more established on the market. So there is that to worry about. What else don't I like about this game? In a sense, it's a little too simple.
New technology.
Thank you. In a sense, it's a little bit too simple. So I want to see a little bit more complexity in not only the tech tree, but I want to see a little bit more complexity in how you build things, what you build. I don't want to just build a factory. I want to build a peripheral factory, an OS factory, so on and so forth. And then I want to be able to buy things from the outside and go, well, look, company X is making an OS, I'll buy the OS from them, so I have to now pay them whilst I am producing a product, or I am producing keyboards, I'm producing other hardware that I want to export to other companies that bundle it with their software and hardware. So I'm making monitors, speakers, keyboards, stuff like that, and I want to export it out, or someone else is making it and I buy it and I just have the components and the tower. That's the kind of thing that I want to see. I think if that starts coming into this title, it's going to be a really, really good title. I think it's going to become very popular. I think it's going to be really good for those people who like, a lot of people like computers, like me, who know about the past and the history of computers. It's interesting to go through all of this. I mean, look, there's the BIOS, you've got the S100 bus, like I said, SCSI drive, the glass teletype CLI, facsimile machines, joysticks and gun controllers. Now you're talking arcade machines, speakers, the sound chip, you know, EEPROM, DRAM. We're going to get towards the different types of processors soon. We've got the 8080 processor, obviously, but then you're going to get onto the x86 style processors, so on and so forth. This is the kind of stuff that I want to see as a whole in a much more in-depth situation. That's where I want to see it. So hopefully that's given you an idea of this game, Computer Tycoon, in Alpha Mondays. Like I said, please do bear in mind it is an alpha, so that's very important to remember. And alphas mean that things can go wrong, things might not go wrong, things might go right, things might go wrong. Basically, that's what an alpha means. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. Sometimes people want it, sometimes people don't want it. That's how an alpha works. Now, just to have a look at this, we'll create a little bit more on the CPU side. Is there anything else that we've got? We could always create new components. Let's create new components. Let's go for a new CPU. This is going to be a really powerful CPU with passive cooling. Yeah, we're going to call it CPU 002. Let's just call it 002, why not? There you go. And we're going to, just for now, we're just going to add a whole bunch of this. Look, now we can put that prom. There you go, we've got that. Could we do that before? We might have been able to do that before. Let's not touch that. Removable media, we can now add tape drives, which is great, so we're going to do that. Power, we're still stuck with what we've got. Memory, we're still stuck with DIP memories. Winchester technology still there. That's still the same. And that's still the same. So all we could do is we could just create a brand new computer. So we create a new computer, and this is where I'm going to end it. So we create a new computer, and we'll just call it, you know what, my computer 11 sounds good to me. And we can add keyboard and printer to it. There you go. So now it's got keyboard and printer, same memory. We've got the slightly better CPU. We'll add some removable media to it. We don't have any video cards or anything. We can add the standard power supply, Winchester technology storage, standard motherboard, the blinking indicators, and the OS. And then what we do is we can say, okay, save that design. What's going on? Hold on. Feedback, there we go. Tell me, not a market leader. Why can I? Oh, there we go. Create prototype. That's what I want to do.
Into the testing phase.
Oops, I didn't mean to do that. New computer 11. Yep, that's good. Why is that not happening? Hold on. I feel like something's gone a little bit wrong. Feedback. Yeah, but I want to prototype it. So you can see sometimes things go wrong. Sometimes things go wrong. We're going to sell it though at 3,300, and we can market that. Probably because I had it paused, that's why I couldn't do it. But look, there we go. Now we're selling that, and look how much. Now we're making an even better amount of money. So you can see how this runs. There you go. We're now selling that and making a fair amount of money. In fact, we could even bring that a little bit lower and go, look, 3,200. See if we can sell even more and even faster. Not quite. Not quite. So there is still a little bit of work on that. So that doesn't seem to affect how much it makes. It just affects how much we make. But there you go. Hopefully you enjoyed that. If you want to pick up this title, I think it's available on Steam. So you can go have a look at it. Follow the creator on Twitter. He is on Twitter, and he's quite active on Twitter as well. But hopefully that gives you a good idea as to how this title works. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button if you like this video. Subscribe to the channel for more videos on Alpha Mondays, where I'll take a look at alpha games. If you have any alpha games that you want me to have a look at, please leave it in the description box or the comments box below. Don't forget to support me on Patreon to allow me to create more content like this. www.patreon.com/ecgadgets. And also, last but not least, follow me on Twitch, twitch.tv/ecgadget, because I do streaming now, and I would really like you guys to be out there interacting with me on stream. I think you guys will enjoy it, and I do play some exclusive series on there. Thank you very much for watching once again, and I'll see you guys next time in Alpha Mondays.